Hey kids, Grandma here. It is Friday night and it is time for another video. I'm actually pretty late getting another video up, but I promised that I would do it and do them every once in a while, and so today's the day. Now, this video is actually a request from Jonah, who has asked that I show him how to make brownies. So that's what we're doing today. Now, you can make homemade brownies, which means you're going to add all the flour, all the sugar, all the eggs, everything, the cocoa powder, everything, and make homemade brownies. But my way of making brownies in a pinch or in a hurry is to use a box of brownie mix. Now, I usually have a bunch of brownie mixes in my cupboard in the pantry, and I usually buy them when they're on sale. Sometimes you can get them for $1 a box, and that's usually when I buy them. So, okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put you down here, and you're going to watch me do this, okay? Let's see if we can do this without making too much mess and too much, so you can understand what's going on. Okay, so here's my box of brownies, and it has all the instructions on the back, and usually they're right up here at the top. This is where the ingredients are, and then it gives you the steps or the instructions right here, 1, 2, 3, and you follow those instructions, and then you're good to go. But the first thing you want to do, because it takes a little bit of time, is you want to turn your oven on, because these are going to go in the oven, and it tells me here that the oven is going to go on for at 350. My oven is already preset for that time, and so I'm just turning that on, and it's going to take 6 minutes to warm up, and that'll give me enough time to get our brownies going. So here we go. We're gonna get going. I have everything out on the cupboard, which I usually don't do, but I thought for today I better do that. I always use the same. Oh, this is kind of going back to the Rice Krispies. I always use the same bowl to make Rice Krispie treats. Remember that? Kind of the same thing with the brownies. I use the same bowl all the time. I can't get rid of it, and I hardly use it for anything else, but I do use it for brownies. So here we go. So here's my bowl that I use for my brownies. It's big enough, and you want to make sure you have one that's big enough. Probably bigger is better than not big enough. So make sure your bowl is big enough. I always use the same wooden spoon. Now you can use any kind of spoon you want to stir up your brownie mix, but I like using a wooden spoon because it's got a short handle. This one has a short handle, and it's just easy to use, and that's what I've always used. Probably if you're going to use a wooden spoon, though, I would use something round like this instead of something big and flat like this. You can use that, but it's just probably better to use a round one. You can use a regular fork if you want to. It's just you want to make sure you mix up the brownie mix and the eggs and the oil and everything that's going to be in there really, really good. And this just works really good for me, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so we take our bowl, and it's of course clean, and our oven is getting warm, and we take inside your brownie box. I'm sure some of you have seen this, and this is kind of like what a cake mix looks like, or anything that comes in a box like this. Usually they have the mix inside of a bag. And so what you do is you take your bag, and this is kind of hard because you don't want it to fall over, because if it falls over, then you get a mess everywhere. So yeah, I kind of shake it up and down so it sits on the counter, you know, kind of flat. Then I take scissors. I don't try to open it by myself with my hands, because then it'll go all over the place. So I just do the best thing and take scissors and cut the top, and then I always put the trash right back in the box. Then you take your mix and you stick it in your bowl like that. And I usually just make sure it's all out, and I just kind of pat it, and then I take my trash and I put it in my box. That's just something I do. I'm just kind of a clean freak that way. So, okay, so here's your mix in there, and it's just kind of like powdery stuff. And you want to be careful because it will kind of get all over if you're not careful. So it's just powdery. Then you look on your box and you see up here that it says, I need a half a cup of oil. This, and your measuring cups will tell you what they are right here on the handle, or you can get one of these. Get one of these. One of these measuring cups. You can use one of these kinds of measuring cups, and it'll tell you right on the side of it where the half cup is. But I know this is a half a cup, so I'm going to use it. And here's my oil, and you can use any kind, there's different kinds of oil, but your mom will know which one you can use. It's either vegetable oil or canola oil. And I always, now here's something you want to learn from Grandma, is that whenever you fill up one of these kinds of cups, you want to fill it to the very top of the cup. Well, if you fill it over the top of the cup, it's going to start running over and it'll get all over. So always, always, always pour slowly and do it over the bowl that it's going in. And don't go fast, because if you get too much, then you'll have more than you need. Oh, look at that. That is right up to the top. And then I shake all the oil out. You definitely don't want oil to get all over in the house. Now, this is another thing you do. After you get it all out, and look, it's still dripping because there's still a little bit in there, but it's hard to get all of it out. I put it up like this, and then I take it right over to the sink and put it in the sink. All right, so there's our oil. I can put that away now because I don't need it anymore. Okay, then it says you're supposed to put 1/4 cup of water. Well, that's this little guy. Oh my goodness, that is so small. So we're gonna go over to the sink and we're gonna fill it up. Let's see if we can do this without my microphone coming off. And I just fill it up slowly till it's to the very top. And of course, again, oh no, I just dropped my phone. All right, let's get you up where you belong. How about that? That's Grandma's first big mistake. Okay, put my water in there. Then it says we need 2 eggs. So we're gonna get 2 eggs, and look at my eggs, they're so cute. They come from the neighbors. They're different colors because they've got different kinds of chickens. So we put 2 eggs, and of course we put them right over the bowl, and you gotta be very careful not to get shells in there. You might need help with this part, unless you're really good at cracking eggs. But watch, make sure you look to make sure no shells get in there. And it's best to go slow, best to go slow. If you get a shell in there, you can always dig it out. That's not that big of a deal. Okay, so that's all it takes. Can you believe it? That's all it takes. Brownie mix, eggs, water, and oil. And it tells you exactly how much you need on that. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, now I'm going to start mixing this, and the first thing I do, let's see if I can do this and you can kind of see. I want you to be able to see in the bowl. There's those 2 eggs. Can you see them? First thing I do, oh, there goes my oven. That means it's done, and it's done warming up. I smash the egg yolks, and then you want to make sure you stir it slowly. If you stir it fast, all that brownie, powdery, cake mixy stuff will flip up out of the bowl and get all over your clothes, get all over the floor, get all over your face, whatever. So we go slow enough that we don't do that. Once it's all mixed up, see, all my powder stuff, but it's not quite mixed up because there's still egg white that needs to be stirred up. So now we just really give it a good stir, and you'll be able to tell when it's all mixed up pretty well. There might be a few little lumps in there of brownie mix, but that's okay. That's all right. We just want to make sure that eggs, the oil, the water, everything is stirred and mixed up really, really well. Okay, now, one other thing you have got to do that's very, very important is you need to spray your pan with cooking spray, and all of your moms have this. This is what it looks like. It might be a different brand, but this is kind of what it looks like. And you want to spray your pan. Now, there's 2 different kinds of pans you can use. You can use a long, skinny rectangle pan. That's called a 9 by 13 because it's 9 inches by 13 inches. Or you can use a square pan. And it doesn't really matter. It just depends on how you want your brownies to come out. If you want to have thick brownies, like fat brownies, then you'll use the smaller pan. If you want them to be kind of flat and little, I don't know if it makes them any gooier, but it just makes them a little smaller so they're not so tall and fat like a piece of cake would be. They're more like this, and I like them that way. So I always use a 9 by 13 pan. But what you want to do, and this another thing to do that would be smart, is to spray this over the sink, because then it doesn't get all over your kitchen, because this is kind of like oil in a can, and so it can get really greasy and kind of I don't want to use the word slimy, but just kind of oily, okay? But I'm pretty good at this, so I'm gonna do it right here. But if I were you, and sometimes I do spray it over the sink because but I don't want my phone to fall over again. So I'm gonna do it right here. And you give it a good spray. And if you need help with any of these parts, your moms can help you, okay? Your moms can help you, but very important that you spray the pan. You wanna spray the pan. Okay, then I'm gonna put you down here so you can see what's going on. Okay, now I have to make a confession. When I make brownies, I hardly ever, unless it's a request from Lexi, because Lexi doesn't like extra things in her brownies. I like to put other things in my brownies besides just this stuff. I'm gonna do it today too. Now, if you wanna just make brownies plain, this is how you would do it. You wouldn't put anything extra in the brownies. But I'm going to, since I'm gonna be eating these with Grandpa, I'm gonna make them the way we want them, or the way I like them. So, Lexi's not here, she's at her own house. Hi, Lexi. But we're gonna do it this way. So I'm gonna get another spoon out. And you can use a regular spoon, like a metal spoon if you want, but that's way over there and I'll knock the phone over again. So I always put peanut butter in my brownies. If you like peanut butter, oh my goodness, you will like this. The reason I do it, well, because I love peanut butter, that's one of the reasons, but another reason I do it is because I remember when I was in grade school, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and I went to my elementary school, they would have, if you bought lunch at the school, sometimes, maybe at least twice a month, they would have peanut butter brownies with the lunch as kind of a little dessert. And I remember asking Grandma Packard if I could buy lunch. I usually always took a lunch, made a lunch at home and then took it to school. But every time they had, and we'd get a menu so you could see what they were having for lunch, for school lunch. And every time they had peanut butter brownies on the menu, that's the day I bought a school lunch. I didn't even care what was I didn't even care what else they were having. They could have had anything else. I didn't even care. I just wanted the brownies, so I would buy school lunch that day. So that's another reason why I like to put peanut butter in my brownies, because it's a memory for me of when I was a little girl. So this is how much peanut butter you're probably going to put in. Not a lot, but probably a good, I like a lot of peanut butter. A good spoonful, okay? So, and peanut butter is so sticky and just so messy and hard to get off the spoon, but that's how you do it. You just kind of get it off the best you can. Then, it's in there. Not a whole lot. You can put more in if you want. Depends on how much you like peanut butter. Peanut butter actually in the brownies makes them very, very moist, which means that they're not dry. They're just gooey. Now another thing I put in my brownies is a big handful of chocolate chips. I like the dark kind of chocolate chips, but chocolate chips come in all different kinds. You can put white chocolate chips in there. You can put peanut butter chocolate chips in there. You can put chocolate chips in there. Dark ones or light ones. Oh, there's so many different kinds. You can put just about anything. You can put nuts in there. You can put little candy bar pieces. You can put anything in brownies that you wanted. Now, if you do like marshmallows on your brownies, I would wait till they're cooked and then put the marshmallows on top and let them get really soft and kind of melty. That would be really good. Some people put frosting on their brownies too. So I'm just going to look at this. This is so easy. Just like a good big handful of chocolate chips, because that makes them so good. Now we're going to give it another stir. We can't just leave it like that, so we're going to stir around the peanut butter, and it's kind of fun to watch this get all mixed up because it's kind of that light brown color, and then you got the dark brown brownie mix. So you just kind of mix that up a little bit. Our pan is already sprayed. Then you just start putting it in the pan. And it's really hard to do this if you've got little hands or if you're not too strong in the arms, because this bowl is a little bit heavy because it's got that yummy brownie mix in there. And you just scoop it out the best you can, get all of it out as much as you can. I like to get every little bit. There's some people, man, there's sometimes I watch cooks on TV and they don't even get everything out of there. And it's like, how can you do that? It's like you're wasting it. Okay, let's bring you down here where you can see. It's in the pan, and we're gonna just spread it to the corners. Just kind of spread it to the corners, and you have to kind of go slow because it's sprayed with that oil stuff, and if you work it too hard, then it doesn't really stick to the corners. But if you just kind of take your time, go like that, put your bowl in here, and this of course would go in the sink and you would rinse it out. We're gonna just get this ready, and guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna turn it over this way, and we're gonna stick it in the oven. And you've got to be careful because your oven is hot, and you definitely don't want to burn your hands. So you got to be careful that way. And then, you know what I do? I put everything away. I don't like to leave a mess in the kitchen. So my brownie mix goes in the trash. Oh, first thing we got to do. Oh my goodness, I put it in the oven and I didn't even set the timer. We got to set the timer because we don't want to burn these things. Oh, that would be the worst. And another thing about brownies is you want to put it in for the least amount of time. I'm not sure if you can see this. Let's see if we can do this. We better do it fast because set a timer. Right here, it tells you how many minutes to put it in for a 9 by 13, 28 to 31 minutes. I'm putting it on for 28 minutes because I don't like them to be too done. So we're gonna go 28 minutes. There we go. All right. And then we clean up our mess and put things away, and we're gonna throw that away. We're gonna put our oil away, or I mean our spray pan away. We'll put the eggs away. Grandpa would be here watching me do this, except that he took off and went to Fathers and Sons outing tonight. So he went to go be with the boys in the ward, and I'm here by myself. So I thought, well, you know what, I might as well make this video. Okay, so now you know how to make brownies, and you're going to be so good at doing it. One thing I would be really careful about for you kids is that you ask for help putting maybe it in the oven, and definitely taking it out. It's not, the pan isn't hot when you put it in the oven. The oven is hot, the pan isn't hot, but when you bring them out of the oven, yeah, very, very hot. So you've got to be really, really careful with that. Can you hear me putting things away? Hey, let's go take a walk. I want to show you the tree while our brownies are going. This is my spring tree. The lights are kind of light, fun colors, and I've got this flowery stuff on it in yellow, green, blue, and pink. And I've got little birds on there and little nests. So I kept those on there from Easter. Look how windy it is outside today. Man, oh man, oh man, it's a blowing. It was blowing actually even worse than that before. That's what happens when you're in Nevada. All right, guys and dolls. While these are cooking, I've got it set for, it's got 26 minutes left. While they're cooking, guess what I'm going to go do? I am going to go watch, let's go in here. I'm going to watch this movie that Connie's family sent me. How about that? That'll give me something fun to do while I'm waiting for our brownies and waiting for Grandpa to get home. So anyway, there you go. Hang on. I will be back in just a minute. I'm going to wait until the brownies get done, but I'll be right back, okay?